Hey everybody, we are gonna start very soon. Get ready. Hello everybody, and welcome to Season 2, Episode Dos of the Big Picture Pinball Show. We have a great show lined up for y'all tonight, a very thick and informative show with... Who are we interviewing, James?
Well, thank you for throwing it to me.
I know, I was like, I'm doing all the talking. We've been
No,
Texas
it's great.
Pinball Festival all weekend, and just
and we've been doing
my voice even more.
Yeah, we've done some amazing filming, and we've been on the entire time. And I hope you were able to see us and greet us a little bit and hang out in the booth. And then we got a great season 2, and we have a really great filmmaker today, Zack Weddington. He is the creator of Arcade Dreams, a documentary series about the history of arcades and arcade games. So he's got some wonderful work. He's got a very well-structured show. So this is going to be one of our more informative shows. So as I was reaching out to other filmmakers about Zack, telling about how awesome Zack was, we said, come on over today. We're going to be talking a lot about filmmaking on our show today, as well as pinball. So we have all kinds of stuff set for you. So even if not, you should know that this will be documented and then restreamed and used as a resource because Zack is so awesome. So anyway.
And I actually met Zack through just being in part of the arcade community and seeing what they were doing, and their content is absolutely beautiful. And maybe he can tell it better, but I can't remember if I reached out to him or he reached out to me. Probably I reached out to them because that's what I usually do, and was like, hey, how can I help? And then, I did a few segments with them, and I've seen them at almost every show that happened last year. And they've been hustling and creating some of the most cinematic journeys into the pinball and arcade community. So I'm really excited that we finally get to share it with everyone here tonight.
Yeah, definitely artistic cinematographic content with the things that we love the most, which is, of course, pinball and pinball culture and arcades. So and so let's see some of his work. We're going to play a little bit of a trailer so people can realize how cool he is. And then we'll pop back over. We'll get a little bit of the history of his origin and how he became a filmmaker. And then he's going to take us on a journey. He's got quite a lot of stuff set up for us to watch and listen to. You can text in, though. We verified. We're not going to save all of it to the end. So please, give us if you have questions along our path. Text them in
the chat.
We'll drop them in.
Your questions, and we'll ask them. And then everyone that asks a question, because we want y'all to be engaged. Everyone that asks a question, I'm writing your screen names down. And at the end of the show, we're gonna do a raffle to see who wins a Marco Pinball swag pack. So
be present and engage. You can't just passively listen to this show. This is education. So anyway. Onto a wonderful piece of work, and then we'll come back around and introduce our man.
All right, I will go ahead and play the trailer then. Right, let's go that. All right, I'll see you guys in a second.
seductive world of video games. The illusion of power at 25 cents a shot.
There were always a bunch of kids at the arcade. You could never play joust because there was always somebody with a rush jacket and you never wanted to put your quarter down.
Now millions of American kids are hooked and mesmerized. When they do stop to talk, it's in a language only they understand.
And I remember standing in the doorway of the arcade wondering, what are we going to do here? They're not coming anymore.
Yeah, I've got 40, 50 machines here. Was there a need for an intervention? I don't know.
It was collecting and it was restoring every mech, the internals, the wiring, the steppers. I was in the zone.
We had all the arcade games, but I like to play PlayStation, so that's what he would do with me.
It's a good place for people to just be a kid again. There's people that come in here who come in and play the same game for 6 hours because they can't find it anywhere else.
The golden age of arcades is now.
All right, that was one of the most epic trailers I've ever
It wasn't
seen.
it epic? Wasn't it beautiful?
It was
I
so
love-
beautiful and gorgeous.
I
and-
love the reenactments and the people dressed in different period costumes.
so beautiful
Really
and
fun
gorgeous.
and great camera work. I was gushing as I was watching it behind the
I
scenes.
know, I couldn't get him to stop talking so we could cut over
I
to the
just
actual screen.
got
We were
very
just freaking out.
you got very chatty about, oh my God, this looks great. Anyway, Zach,
There he is.
welcome.
Thanks, guys. Great to be here.
Where is he on? I don't know which where. It's always kind of a Brady Bunch quad where I'm trying to figure out which direction I'm going. Yeah. So, and then there's the delay for me. So I guess he's on that side.
Okay.
So, Mr. Zack, welcome. Wonderful work. You are a amazing documentary filmmaker. You've had some success, if not great success.
I've had some sex.
Some sex. Some sex.
Wow.
Oh my
Viva
God.
And some success.
And
Well,
some
that's good.
success.
I'm glad. It keeps you healthy.
Yeah, it's always good. Yeah, it does keep you healthy.
Wow.
Keeps you happy and healthy. Keeps those endorphins going. Viva Amiga, the story of the beautiful machine, premiered worldwide on Hulu as a Hulu exclusive. So that's huge success. It was on iTunes and in both the United States and Europe. So you had lots of distribution. So if this documentary, a previous documentary of yours, if people are interested, they can go to Vimeo. They can search Vimeo now and check it out, because and pay a couple bucks and watch that last documentary. You're currently working
He's
on
a
your
success machine. Yep.
success. You're a sex machine, is what she's trying to say.
Success machine.
Oh, okay. He is currently working on
Waka
Waka Waka. He is currently working on Arcade Dreams, a documentary series about the history of arcade gaming and games, arcades. So, tell us how you become a filmmaker. We're gonna do the origin story. We always do the origin story. We would like to know a little bit, yeah, and then from there we'll hand it over to you, and you've got lots of wonderful work to show, and we're really excited. We'll just absorb.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people that there was never any question of what I was going to do. Like, as you know, my earliest memories as a kid was just being fascinated with audio tape recorders and video cameras. And I mean, as a kid, I was really into animation, right? Oh. So at school, we had a art project where we made flip books. You know, you guys know what those are, you know, right?
Oh, yeah.
All the pictures and like
all my textbooks in school had them.
Oh yeah. Oh right. I know they were everywhere back then. Good call. But yeah, I mean, I became obsessed with flip books because like I thought that was amazing that you could just make this little movie in your hand, right? So that's kind of I think where I really got the bug. And then yeah, playing with audio tape recorders, obsessed, recording all kinds of stuff and making sound effects with it. And there was a point in the 1980s where computer animation was becoming really popular. It was like a new thing. Imagine this, right? Computer graphics. And at the time, they just looked so captivating and otherworldly. No one had ever seen this kind of animation. I was already an animation fan, obviously. But when I saw this computer animation, I was like, Dad, I have to learn how to do this, right? I want to do this now.
Now, how old were you when was this 80s or
yeah,
earlier?
In the 80s. So I'm probably about 10.
Wow. Okay.
When we get to the computer part.
Well, yeah.
Like, and my dad had been into computers. He bought me a Radio Shack TRS-80 computer, like back when I was a really little kid, and we were actually programming video games together on it. And I'm like 5 or 6, so I was just born into all this. And
nice.
So you know, I was like maybe 10 or 11. I asked, you know, I wanted to make this computer animation. And I wound up getting the Amiga computer, which was a really just not real popular. It was very popular in the UK and Europe.
Heavy on graphics, though. I actually that's what the first machines I ever used.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. And I had it at the Art Institute. I went to my school. Yeah, but again, it didn't make it. It was like it was that class and a Mac class, and everybody was like, "Do the Amiga. It looks cooler." So. Great. So keep going. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Yeah. And I did get one. And like, it was the only affordable computer for a consumer at the time that you could actually do 3D animation.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of 2D animation too. And I mean, it was amazing because like you could just do this in your bedroom and then immediately put it out onto a VHS tape.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? You can make your own little movies. And I was like, yeah, we're going to do this.
Nice.
And everything was just kind of a progression after, you know, went to school for film.
So the graphics look great. Did you do the graphics on your projects, or do you have those outsourced? Because those are really well done.
Well, I think the stuff you see in Arcade Dreams is, except for the intro animations, those are actually done by Peter Hirschberg.
Okay.
He's a really cool guy, a friend of mine, and yeah, he does 3D modeling. Those are his. But then I think any other graphic you see in there is done by my company, Rocksteady Media.
Brilliant. I mean, it's really true though. Even if you outsource work, if you know the vocabulary of what you want when you're talking to a designer or somebody creating graphics, you want to be able to communicate with them in a way where they understand it and you can achieve it. So I always think that filmmakers should try a little bit of everything and not, they should create, they should work on audio like as you've done. You should work on computers, get as much as you can, especially if you're directing or producing, so that you can communicate to the people that you work with. So brilliant. Thanks. Again, I'm interrupting again. So
sure, no problem. Went to school for film, and then had a career in television that really kind of kicked off by working for this. Anybody remember the WB network with Buffy and everything? Yeah. So I got hired as that guy that makes like the super cheesy local commercials. for the station. And it was probably the most amazing job I ever had. It was out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which if you've never been, I highly recommend.
I love
it. It is
Albuquerque.
just like a trip. It is a surreal, awesome place. And it's just like, I'm rolling around in a huge van that's got Buffy the Vampire Slayer on it, on doing these shoots and going to like a cell phone store. Sometimes I'd show up, people be like, why are you here? I'm like, we're shooting a commercial today. The sales agent hooked it all up. We talked about this.
Oh,
and
gosh, I've been there
but
so
most
many
of
times.
the time went
With
great.
the
But I mean,
restaurant.
it is one of the weirdest and probably the most fun jobs you can have. You know what? We're kind of going at it. Yeah, I'm thinking like, why don't we go ahead and toss to those cheesy commercials, right? You've got that, Emoto, right?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead and show the people what we're talking about. I think you'll get a kick out of these.
We're going to
one of my first real jobs, early 20s.
Which number is this? Because I think we went a little bit out of order.
Yeah, it's anything commercials.
Blast from the Past.
Blast from the Past. Yep, sorry, that's it.
Alrighty, let's go check it out.
Well, yeah, roll that one.
In Albuquerque, there's a team dedicated to reducing the number of SOVs. This is their story.
What's going on, officers? Sir, are you aware ABQ Ride provides bus service in Albuquerque from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. 5 days a week? Yeah, I've heard something about that.
So why do you continue to drive alone to work every day? Is it because you enjoy sitting in traffic?
Okay, yeah, just give me a schedule.
When will people realize that ABQ Ride is the way to go?
I don't know why anyone would want to sit in traffic, when the alternative is so much easier.
American Toyota, we say yes. We're the Toyota King. Yes. Great service and financing. Yes. Forget the hassle, forget the stress. American Toyota, we say yes.
The Yes Man is saying yes to half-price payments. Lease a Corolla from only $189 a month. Looking for a truck? How about a Tacoma for only $159 a month? Or the 2004 Camry from only $199 a month?
American Toyota, we say yes.
That's better.
Mr. Big, what are you doing?
These prices are too low. My big city dealerships can't compete with these.
Well, you can't mark them up.
But everybody in Albuquerque's starting to feel the heat.
Like they say, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the big city. Now mark them down. Lower, lower, lower.
Nobody beats a High Mesa deal. High Mesa Buick Pontiac GMC in Belen.
Albuquerque isotopes. Isotope power. That one is out of here. Albuquerque isotopes. Isotope action. Be safe, and the topes win. Albuquerque isotopes. It's a whole new ball game. Albuquerque isotopes. It's a whole new ball game.
Hey kids, you only get one summer break this year, so why not make the most of it? Be part of the fun at Summer Karate Camp with Young Dragons. Learn discipline, confidence, leadership, and self-defense from world-famous black belt instructors. There's field trips, ninja nights, fun activities, and so much more. Young Dragons also offers an after-school program, women's self-defense class, weapons, and evening programs. So what are you waiting for? Join the fun at Young Dragons today. Call 881-5200.
What are you making?
Green chili cheese corn pudding with fresh roasted green chilies and cheese.
Right, that looks awful good. What are you smoking?
Well, let's have a look. Hey, it's the bottom of the knife. Check it out.
What are you smoking?
Well, let's have a look.
People sure are making lots of noise about Rob's Ribs, you know? Located on San Pedro and Candelaria.
All right, sorry, I was watching it and laughing so hard I forgot to cut back over. Man, they just don't make commercials like they used to.
I
Zach, that
know,
was
right?
awesome. I
But yeah, no
brought
budget.
back to
All
my
those are like,
childhood.
I think one of those had a budget, but rest are no budget.
all shot in standard def 4x3.
Yeah.
The classic,
They
the
need to bring
classics.
that
yeah.
style of commercials back. I mean, yeah.
No, I there's something to be said about being
Top 10, but
creative.
They said it's not
yeah.
daily.
Being creative with limited resources, and that's really the way. That's really the way to work. I know people that you worked at PBS, you know, they had nothing that still had to make something out of stuff. So I love it. I love those things. The creativity. You get a fun job.
Yeah,
So.
Sad I missed out on Ninja Nights.
I like how you talked about those limitations. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jack White. And that's also his aesthetic. That's why he, you know, for the longest time in his career, didn't use any computers, used very old school gear, because he really liked those limitations in it. And it did force creativity. And obviously that worked out well for him. And, you know, like, I think I was, you know, it's like maybe 15 years ago when he said that. And it really kind of made me realize like, oh yeah, you know, just try to strip things down to their essentials. And then if you want to flourish things out, you can.
Right.
Helps you you're not lost in the sauce that way. It actually encourages, I think, limitations.
Excellent.
Cool.
So
yeah, you got something?
No, keep moving.
My question to you is, when did you decide to make the kind of the big leap transition from working for the quote unquote other production companies, creating the content they want, to being like, I'm going to start focusing on the content I want to do?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's those are good questions. Yeah. Like, as you see, I come from a commercial background. As a kid, I loved making my own stuff, but, for most of my life, I just didn't really care if it was my own, you know, work, quote unquote, or like for me, like I was happy to my dream was to work in a post-production studio doing editing and animation. And that was all I really wanted to do. So yeah, I mean, I did that for quite a while. Yeah, it started there in New Mexico's WB. Then I wound up at Comcast NBCU headquarters in Philly. And I spent about 12 years there, I guess. Maybe less. It's all blurred now. But that was an amazing job. I was working in like a multi-million-dollar studio. However, one would think that a company like Comcast in maybe 2005 would have a lot of people that make content for them, right? You'd be wrong. They are just kind of like, things are different now because they merged with NBC Universal. But see, for the longest time, like, yeah, you know, like I'm here in the headquarters, but there's no one making videos for Comcast in here but me. And so like I was like doing all of their communications videos, right? Like, and it was just a whole mixed bag from like, you know, kind of dry videos that are just explaining new products are coming out. Or, you know, sometimes they'd be like, all right, you know, we've got this Catholic school that we owe them a favor. We want to make a little video for them. So just go have Zack do it. And I'm like, all right. So I'm like shooting in like a convent today. Like you never knew. And like, I mean, it was a really cool job. Like, they wouldn't always tell everybody like when celebrities are coming over, but there was one time I opened the studio door and I'm like, whoop, there's Shaquille O'Neal. And who knew?
Awesome.
You know, and they're like, hang on, Zack, you'll be shooting a part of him later. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna shoot Shaquille O'Neal today. They didn't tell me. It's weird.
What's the most
it was
famous
a fun
person you've shot?
Man, you know, there was keeping it real. I didn't work with celebrities much on the regular, but then there would be times where all of a sudden they were like all over the place. Went out to one convention where it was, you know, Taylor Swift, Steve Jobs did an iChat, but they had Ted Turner there, Oprah. Nice. I mean, it was crazy. Shows. And this was like all at once. That's awesome. I was also, and then after all that was shot, I had to go back and make a video to close the show. So that was probably one of the craziest things I did. That was
right. It's a whole event, and then you have to show the event recap at the end.
This was this thing was a really expensive.
Half of my career right
we're here to show off. It was for the entire management team, you know, the top management team of Comcast. So high pressure. Nice. They showed a video that I made at the show. I mean, it was very surreal, but very exciting and fun. And so, you know, I spent a long time at Comcast, and then I got tired at one point that I had gone to, you know, school for film and studied all this. And, you know, I'd made all this work for other people, but I never really made my own content, you know, like a movie. And so I decided to make Viva Amiga. I met up with a friend, awesome guy named Mike Lee. And we started going to these vintage computer festivals. And at a vintage computer festival, guess what I saw?
A Viva Amiga.
I saw the Amiga. I was like, oh wow, like because I had forgotten about Amiga. Amiga, you know, the company Commodore went bankrupt in the mid '90s there, and so I actually, you know, I love the Amiga. I didn't like any of the other computers at the time, so I just stopped using computers for a while because at my school we were still shooting on film.
Yeah.
So we were shooting like 16 millimeter, and we did a lot of video. But the video didn't require computers. We were in the analog video world.
Yeah.
Where you're using tapes and stuff. So I was like, all right, forget computers. And then when I got out of school, that was the time that the Macintosh G4 was out, and it had DV, and it was all over. It's like, okay, here we have like really cheap but awesome video.
And editing systems became easier to access as well. I mean, you didn't need to have, you could do post it in your house, which, you know, changed everything.
Yeah.
To go to a post-production facility. World. Yeah. Digital.
The gear used to be so expensive, just prohibitively expensive. And heavy and just like, I mean, really arcane compared to what we have now. So saw that Amiga, and while I was still working at Comcast, I decided to make a documentary about the Amiga because it meant so much to me. And I figured, and I saw that no one had really done it. So that's what gave me the idea for Viva Amiga.
So how old are you about? Yeah. How old are you about?
I don't know when I started that project. It was like 12 or 13 years ago. I mean, I'm bad at dates. I'll probably look up and like, why'd you say that? But yeah, I mean, I was in my 30s, in my early 30s when I first started.
2010, 2012.
Yeah. And
were you always a gamer up to that point too? Were you in the arcades?
No. Yeah, a huge arcade gamer. So as a kid, like my other obsession besides, any kind of like creative tools was arcades. Because I was first of all, games are fun, but then second, at the time, the graphics at that time in the late 80s started getting really insanely good.
Yeah.
And, seeing things like Outrun, it looked like a movie to us. It looked like a moving cartoon. And so it was kind of like both in my brain, right? Like I'm doing animation and I love this graphics and moving cartoons. You can see, I would try to make things on my Amiga that looked like video games.
We had a question.
Oh, what if I can make that Outrun car,
We did have a question in the chat from CDW, which goes along with this, asking, what's your favorite arcade game and pinball machine?
Yes, we got to bring it back to pinball.
I was going to save it for later,
really
but now
hard
that we're
to
kind of
choose.
talking about it.
It's like, how do you choose one favorite game?
Like,
I really love 720 degrees. It's by Atari Games.
Yes.
It's like one of the first games about skateboarding. I think that I got to put that, it's probably not my favorite, but it's definitely up there because I find it has a lot of playability even today. And it's just got really weird sound and cool graphics. Super fun. Yeah, very, I got to say, I like simple games. I'm on the retro gaming side.
Have you discovered your favorite pinball machine yet?
Boy, it's hard to say. Like, I'm going to go like, okay. And I'll tell you my story with pinball, how things have changed for me. But like, I was really enjoying the Beatles game that just came out not too long ago.
I love that game.
I don't usually get so I don't always go. I've started actually going out to play pinball on purpose, but like at one of the shoots we did with Bruce Samos, who's in our film, he's just an amazing. I mean, he's like an encyclopedia of pinball. This guy, and we filmed an interview with him, and he's got a basement arcade. You can see in the trailer he's in there, and he had just gotten the Beatles game, and I was like, oh wow, really enjoying this. Like, I think that the gameplay is good for someone like me, and it's just a real good interactive experience. I get excited when I play it. I've been enjoying that a lot.
The rules and stuff. So if
I played Deadpool game recently.
When
I
you go out and shoot, if you see a Stargazer pinball, that's actually what the Beatles playfield was modeled after.
Right. So I'm gonna tell you something important now. I am not an expert on pinball.
I know.
However,
that's why I'm here, Zack.
But I'm working with people that are.
Yeah.
I have a team of writers and producers that know, and so they, what I mean, like they've built out the content and structure and the research for me, and then we take that work and shoot accordingly.
Awesome.
So,
and just
we've got experts who know. I mean, Stern's in the damn thing,
Yeah. Oh, so, and that would be
we got the people who know.
To one of your videos that we do have is of a very famous Stern executive.
Ooh.
Maybe my favorite. Probably my favorite. Before we go to what the next video you want to cue, I just wanted to say that we have Indie Racing Nut in the chat and said that they've actually seen your Isotopes commercials when they would go down there to play.
What?
Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
Isn't that great?
I knew it was a good idea.
They used to play for Salt Lake Bees, and we'd head to Albuquerque now and then to play against them. So they totally saw your commercial.
Awesome.
Oh my god.
Awesome.
Power.
All right. So what video do we want to play next? Do we want to go to the interview, or you had something else in mind?
Well, you just mentioned having, you've got the one with Gomez and Stern. Little, while we're on the topic of pinball, go ahead and do it.
All right, we're going a little.
And then we'll do the
order,
video
but I
one
love it.
after.
It's organic. Okay, cool. It's so beautiful. All right, let's go check it out.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been really fortunate in is that I've worked in some amazing creative studios.
Taking on IBM
when I went to Williams,
we've changed the world.
Those guys were at the top of their game. So and the amount of creative energy and success, game line and the pinball line, the designer crew was essentially the who's who of pinball at the time.
We got to come back real quick. I was playing like 5 things at once. And I was like, no, George, wait, don't go anywhere. We got to come back real quick. I was playing like 5 things. How you guys doing? Good. How's OBS? Good.
Oh, we are.
How's Emoto? Tired from Texas Pinball Festival still. Okay. Everything else is muted. Now we're going to go to see George Gomez.
One of the things that I've been really fortunate in is that I've worked in some amazing creative studios. When I went to Williams, those guys were at the top of their game. So and the amount of creative energy and success across both the video game line and the pinball line, the designer crew was essentially the who's who of pinball at the time.
It's a different business than I got into when I was 2. It has grown, it has broadened itself, its market has broadened. Like any business, you have to be tenacious. We were very tenacious, been through a lot of ups and downs in this business. And you just stick with them, be tenacious, and be flexible. In business school, they teach you to be in love with business, not your business. Well, we're in love with our business. We're in love with the machines. We're in love with the play. Again, this is a avocation more than a vocation. And so, if you can, we're very lucky in this country. If you can do what you love and really enjoy it and be challenged, it's all good.
All right. It wasn't just George Gomez. It was also Gary Stern and some awesome B-roll of the assembly line, which is like the most epic thing to see in person.
Oh, wait. Oh, man. That's some other video. Can you stream things off of Vimeo if I send you a link?
Yeah, I could.
All right. We don't have to, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So awesome.
We might have to get you on another episode just to share more Arcade Dreams progress and content. Because I know this is just brushing the surface of what Zack and his team have been getting.
Right.
Like
Emoto's on the Arcade Dream team, and we've got a little dev team that we deal with, and so she's seen all the it just goes on and on. So why there's so much? Because we're covering 100 years of arcade history. ArcadeDocumentary.com.
I'm like,
so how long is
one event over a weekend?
How long have you been working on this project, and when do you feel like you're going to have enough to pull it all together and do a big presentation and finally release it?
Sure. So if you look at most, if you're going the indie route, raising all your own funds, like a lot of filmmakers do, even people like Errol Morris, especially in their career, it's about a 5-year turnaround for a project like this, from when you first get the idea until the thing's out in the world. So it's been about 3.5 or 4, I guess. I just started with an idea of like, all right, since I didn't make a ton of money off Viva Amiga, obviously, but we made just enough to make it worthwhile, not really much profit, but we got, I got some royalty checks and it felt good. So we were like, what are we going to do to follow this up? And basically I took the royalty checks and sunk them into doing some shoots for Arcade Dreams.
That's the way to do it.
And we did a big shoot out in Las Vegas. And the reason for that, you know, I wasn't even planning on really throwing the money at the shoot yet necessarily, but something came along that was so irresistible. Where while I was doing research for Arcade Dreams, I came upon a guy who was a collector of vintage arcade machines, and mostly electromechanical, some pinball, just a whole mixed bag, a lot of crazy Sega stuff. And I was like, wait, Sega made games like before video games? Like I didn't even really realize that. And I started seeing all these electromechanical Sega games, right? That work off these moving parts and electricity. And he had all this stuff. I contacted him. I was like, you know, like I'd really love to film some of this stuff. It's absolutely, I mean, it's jaw-droppingly gorgeous, especially when you shoot it right on camera with a nice camera. I mean, it's just total eye candy. I was like, yeah, I want to film these. He's like, well, I'm not ready for that yet. I'm going to let me get back to you in just a couple months. And he did. And he said, Zach, I've decided to sell my entire collection.
Wow.
And, you know, this is a huge collection with hundreds of games. And I was like, I'm going to auction it off. And why don't you come fill that? And I was like, yes. So we went out to Vegas and shot, you know, I think the collection sold for, you know, don't quote me on this, $2.5 or $3 million. And that was before this latest heat up, you know, in retro gaming's where this stuff's starting to get real valuable. I mean, he sold it for millions. And so here we are, one place I can shoot all of these machines, you know, and interview people too. You know, he never really told me. Some collectors, like you could tell he really cared and about it, had a passion. He did a lot of restoration. And I think he just went through a life change and was like, you know what, I'm just going to let it all go. And so he did. He saved himself like maybe 5-10 things that really meant a lot.
Sure.
But we interviewed him and some other people out there and got an incredible B-roll. And that is what we used to make the teaser trailer, which you see, along with some other little things. You know, some people look at that trailer and they get the idea that like, oh, the film is like done, you know, like a lot of people see that like, oh,
we're ready to watch it. Yeah.
I'm like, well, hang on, we have, you know, especially, you know, back a year or so ago, we haven't really shot it yet. Like that's just the beginning. So last year we spent, you know, we did a Kickstarter, right? And then also, but before we did the Kickstarter, we actually got our first investor. So I made that teaser trailer, right, to try to attract some attention. Yeah. And Bruce Samos, he posted that trailer on Pinside.
Yeah.
And an incredible guy named Burge Caribbean came along. He's the founder of JoeBlow.com, which is the I think the world's first movie fan site on the internet.
Yeah, Joe Blow's great.
He's awesome. He happens to be a huge pinball fan. And so he actually approached us and said, you know, and so we got some of the funding from him, but then we needed to do a Kickstarter, you know, plus his money to actually get real serious with it. And so that all happened the year before last. We spent all of last year, you know, now we've got almost all the content we need. We're going to do a final small round of shooting. But other than that, like, yeah, we got it. You know, we've got what we need. We got more than we need. We promised 3 episodes. I don't know. We probably got 6 or 7 if we want.
No, that's a fairly big model. Like when you're looking for investors, they want to know that you can pull it off. And a look and feel trailer is usually, you know, a go-to. I mean, you have scripts, you have all these other things. Yeah, that trailer makes it. I mean, it does bring excitement, and it does show a beautiful. You know, the cinematography is good, the music's excellent. So yeah, I can only imagine people wanting to you know, share that vision with you and get the whole thing done. So excellent. So make little previews if you know, if you want to get people excited, you want to see how good you are.
Maybe roll while we're speaking of trailers, roll the Viva Amiga one.
Viva Amiga.
Yeah. So I did the same thing with Viva Amiga. I made a mock-up trailer, right? Using very little footage. And then this is actually the final trailer. It talks about some of the stats we had in there. I call it a proof of performance trailer, talking about the Hulu deal we got. Proof of performance is important. But what was so cool is like, well, I already have a mock-up trailer. Yes. I was like, I already have this mock-up trailer. Now it's time to make a final one. It made it easy. You know what I mean? It's like, okay,
people want to be able to see what type of quality they're going to get, and then they'll feel more comfortable investing into that project.
Yeah, I'm all about trailers, mock it up, fake it out.
Yeah, fake it out. Yeah.
Fake it till you make it, and having a trailer is a way to do it.
Yeah, so everybody walk away with proof of performance trailer. That's something that's what I'm walking away with. I'm using it. Yeah. So excellent. Thank you.
Better than sizzle reel.
Sizzle reel or demo reel or look and feel reel. Proof of my performance.
All right,
Love it.
let's watch
Okay,
Viva
watch.
Amiga. All right, here we go.
This ragtag team taking on IBM and Apple, and we've changed the world. We were from the future. This was it.
The wild-eyed, the excited, the crazed, gotta create inventive things, gotta do fun stuff.
It just completely changed everything. Amiga users make Macintosh users look like IBM users.
Weirdness and enthusiasm and unbridled energy.
We were so young and naive and innocent. It really felt like we could change the world.
I think there's something that was lost, something that you can't get back.
We had people who just kept believing. And I mean, there's still people who just keep believing.
Man, this is coming out great, huh?
That was awesome. Man, I was saying while we were watching it that I just love your graphics and everything that you put together just really makes everything you do feel so whole.
Thanks. You know, it was tricky at the time, you know, like obviously YouTube was there when I started it, but there wasn't just a ton of content that I could necessarily use visually to tell the story, you know, like it's an old computer. And like so like I mean, I personally don't just like showing like low res YouTube clips as B-roll. Like a lot of people do that, and that's not good enough for me. So I had to find a way to have visuals, you know, that look good and, you know, tell the story. And so, yeah, so I did a lot of animation there, you know.
And again, where can people go to watch the Viva Amiga documentary?
I believe it's still, we have it up on Vimeo. So I had a distribution deal that lasted 3 years. I was with a company called Gunpowder and Sky, a bunch of former Viacom people. And so, yeah, last 3 years. Now the rights have gone back to us. We're going to do like a relaunch of it at some point. Probably, you know, it would make sense to me after Arcade Dreams come out, you know, to relaunch and, you know, kind of make that available again on a wide scale. But if you go, I think if you search for Vimeo, Viva Amiga,
I found
link
it.
will come up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could give people the link.
Yeah, I'll drop the link. A lot of people are really excited for that Viva.
Oh yeah, they would like to watch that. So. Yeah, it was very fun. You know, like it was my first real documentary that I made, you know, pretty much by myself. I had some help, but you know, there wasn't a very big budget attached, so I kind of had to wear a lot of hats: writing, producing, directing, animating. Some people helped with the music, and I did have some 3D modelers to help me. I'm not the best modeler, but I can put, you know, I can pull off an animation at least okay. Yeah, you know, I don't do a lot of 3D these days. I did a lot of 2D stuff for a while, you know, but I've gotten back in 3D again, really enjoying it, and did some recently.
Yeah, I like how you use these older clips and put them inside, you know, TV screens and use, you know, make the old footage fresh again by, you know, giving it widescreen and all the other things that we expect now. So beautiful film.
Thanks.
And then Amiga is awesome. So I'm you know, I love that machine.
Not Cam from the Lamp asked if you still have a full Amiga setup running at your home.
I did until about a year ago. So like I like an idiot got rid of my Amiga at one point. Like after Commodore died, I gotta tell you guys, my heart was really broken. And I could see that the machine was starting to show its age, and it probably, you know, like I love my Amiga, but I did see it as a tool for creating very attractive stuff. And you know, I talk about how I can make 3D graphics, but let's be honest, it's pretty primitive stuff. Okay. So I was like, my heart was broken that the Amiga platform wasn't around. And so I just stopped using computers. I went off to college. But then, while I was making Viva Amiga, a nice friend of mine loaned me a few Amigas, including an A1200 that I had set up for a long time. But he let me have them for so a real friend is going to loan you like a bunch of Amigas for years, right? Because he's like, well, you're going to need them for the B-roll. We did shoot them. We shot those Amigas. And then, he's like, Zach, all right, it's time for them to come back home. Because why? They're like worth hundreds and thousands, hundreds of dollars, some of them thousands. So I was like, yep, all right. So not currently, but you can always emulate. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
So let's change the subject now to a little bit of technology and talk a little bit about your process. We know that the Amiga was there. What software was primary in your 3D modeling in there? It was
on the Amiga?
Yeah, you said Cinema 4D, or what was the?
Well, I mean, like the last time I did like any 3D animation with the Amiga would be in the 90s. I was using a program mostly called Imagine.
Okay.
Pretty strong. I probably have some work that I did with that I can show you. But I went with Mac there in the late 90s because it was a great platform. And great editing. I've used a variety of editing systems, Avid Media Composer. I used something called Media 100, which you said you remember. And then
geeky
Final
old
Cut.
guy.
Yeah, right. And then of course Final Cut Pro. And I was always using Mac-based systems. So I saw that this Cinema 4D, which was available on the Amiga. I didn't get to use it too much, but I was like, oh, it's still live and it's on the Mac. And I use that a lot at Comcast, to make their fancy logo animations and all that type of stuff.
So we when we were going to do the show, you and I chatted up a little bit about your current editing system that you're currently doing post on, and we had a bit of a challenge for you because I am again following your same path. I probably right behind you or right beside you on my technology path. So I'm trying not to over geek and over put too much on it because I'm like, oh yeah, but again, it's not my show, it's your show as far as we're talking about your process. But we have evolved. I like to think that we're growing into technology, and that we are going in, and that we are going to try to get a Moto to come along with us to ascend to the next level of editing.
Because I use Premiere doesn't mean I'm not evolved as a creator.
No, it's not your creator. I just want you to follow our technology path.
To preface it for everyone, so Zach, you and James, you both shoot on Blackmagic cinema cams. The pocket cams are amazing. I shoot on them all the time, but then the awesome thing with Blackmagic is it comes with this software called DaVinci Resolve, and it's this new, it's not even that new anymore, but nice editing platform that's kind of promotes itself as an all-in-one. You don't have to go to different programs where when I live on Adobe Suite, I'm cutting back from After Effects to Illustrator to Photoshop back to Premiere. And now it's all about going to DaVinci. I have the little SD card to install on my computer, but the idea of me changing to a completely new platform after making that big leap from Final Cut to Premiere about 10 years ago was hard enough, and then now you want me to learn a new program?
Yes.
So now this is where you're going to convince me.
I feel your pain because you do get your shortcut keys down. You do get so much of the interface; it becomes a part of you. So but at the same time, the system DaVinci Resolve started out as a color corrector. And was used for a bunch of feature films, but as their technology comes out, they were brought in. They were purchased by the Blackmagic company, and they have integrated that color correction along with editing, and it does a lot more kind of cinematographic kind of technologies. They have the cameras themselves have their own codec, I guess, as well. So as far as having a lot of information to work with, and I'm not actually not be too geeky about it. I'm going to send this over to our guest here because Zack is following that same process, and he's come from work from beginning to end. I asked when he came on the show that he would share quote unquote his workflow with us, but we have to analyze what that actually means. We have to figure out what we were going to talk about. Let's talk more about his process, because anybody can figure out how to use the software, but why did he come over to the system? What is his process now? What does he enjoy about the system? And let me hand that over to Zack, because I think Zack is the man on the moments here.
Duchess of Deco says, "What's up, Zack?"
Oh,
actually, sup.
Nice to see you. Thank you so
You guys
much.
are fans of
Yeah, we
Duchess.
just met the other day. She's incredible.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Look her up.
All right, sorry. All right,
Look her
tell
stuff
us.
up. Anyway, yeah. So we're talking about Blackmagic and why I'm using it now. So yeah, I was a big fan of Final Cut 7. I found it very intuitive software. And of course, Apple, they basically killed that product and they came out with this Final Cut Pro X. And I just wasn't interested in that. So yeah, like Emoto, I was on Premiere, and I guess I used that for like 4 or 5 years, and it's kind of like Final Cut. But I mean, I gotta be honest with you guys, and I've been using Adobe products since the 90s. Okay,
yeah,
we're talking like 96 or 7, early versions of Photoshop and stuff.
Wow.
Early,
I didn't even know
the first
it
version
was
of After
around
Effects,
back then. That's amazing.
stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I used it for the longest time. The Adobe products now, they are just mysterious to me. They've started changing Photoshop. I find Premiere to be really clunky and outdated feeling. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I shouldn't have to really guess too much what's going to happen, or really have to really relearn. There's a lot of muscle memory that is involved with editing, you know, to like, I understand why people don't want to learn new platforms, because it's like, oh my God, you have to like retrain, but you don't, like you can do keyboard short, like the point is it should feel right to you. The platform that you're using should feel right. We live in a world where people, and I don't want, I'm not trying to bash geeks, because I'm a geek too. We have a tendency to, think that we know, think we know what is best for everyone a little bit. And like people are constantly trying, like I like Mac, but people are still like, oh, new Mac, you do it on PC, it's cheaper. But guess what? I don't like it. I don't care, because I can't make it work the way I want. So none of that matters. It doesn't matter if it has a faster processor.
To each their own.
Guess what? I'm not going to make it as good. And I can tell you, at Comcast, I used a PC-based Avid, and it was like, okay, it works, but I don't, it's not as fun. So what's the point? So, people are always trying to get you to buy in. It's like once you buy in this ideology or whatever. And I think that's wrong. I think you should use what works for you. And, I got so sick of Premiere, and I had already bought the Blackmagic camera. So it's like, why not try this software? And I got to tell you, when I finally did, I mean, it took me maybe 5 minutes to figure out that it was going to be in my future. It just slid right into it.
5 minutes?
Like, wait, I click this and it does what I ask. And like, it doesn't crash and all this stuff. Like, it's pretty stable now.
Yeah.
It's more stable than Premiere was on my system.
I opened it up and I was just like, I have 2 days to edit this project. I'm not doing this right now. And I think that was about the extent of my relationship with the vision.
Yeah, you need any relationship needs more than 2 days, I think, especially to get something.
Hey, he was married in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I gave my relationship.
Love it. We'll do. I'd love to hang out at some place other than an event. Be cool to just like. I mean, maybe we'll cross paths and can hang out here in Philly or something and play with some editing stuff. I would love to. But yeah, let's. I would like to make clear that the film is not completely shot with a Blackmagic 6K. It's shot a lot by Bill Winters. Bill Winters is the go check out billwinters.net.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
the man. He's a Hollywood level cinematographer, and he has shot a lot of Arcade Dreams with a variety of cameras, mostly a Canon C300, like Mark II or 3. And then but for a lot of that really juicy stuff that you see in the trailer. So that's kind of our A cam. We've been shooting with Sony FX9. Nice. But those are our A cams. And I'd say I have shot some of the interviews with the Blackmagic. I do mainly save it for the B-roll, because I think it's a really good camera for that. But however, you can shoot a beautiful interview with it. I've been telling people it's my favorite camera that I've ever used. I haven't used a whole ton, but I've used a lot of video cameras. Yeah. And as a video camera, like, I grew up with the cameras like this. You carry it on your shoulders, large camera. And I wasn't really into small video cameras or hybrid photography cameras. This one works because it was designed by a cinematographer instead of a real, a technical type of person. You know, the cinematographer really thought about what filmmakers want and what they want to be able to have access to quickly on all those menus. It needs to be real stripped down and simple. When I shoot video, I like to focus on things like, I don't know, exposure and focus and like, you know, and I, you know, and ISO and all that stuff, and not be bogged down with a lot of really high tech, you know, like a really technical stuff. You know, that's what a person like Bill does. You know, like I like to be able to just rock with it, and I find that with the Black Magic, I can totally do that. And
Wait,
let's
so
show,
what did you say the that Bill was shooting on?
Canon C300 Mark II.
Oh yeah, I love that camera.
Yeah, really good camera. So a lot of interviews are shot with that.
How did you guys get connected with Bill? He's such a
through Viva Amiga.
Esteemed. I mean, like multiple.
It was Viva Amiga. Can you believe it?
Yeah, he's like.
Oh yeah, that's a good story.
Amazing.
Yeah, like it was so adorable. I got an email one day. He was like, I was like, man, I'm so sorry I missed your Kickstarter and I haven't heard of this thing. You know, and he's like, I would love to be involved. Is there anything I can do? And he's like, I guess you guys are about done. And I was like, you know what, Bill, we are about done, but we're at the same place where I'm at right now. It's like, we got to do a final round of shooting. You know, that fills in the blanks. And I was like, you're just in time, dude. And so yeah, he came along and shot some stuff for Viva Amiga because he's a huge Amiga fanatic.
Wow.
I was like, wait, well, what's even weirder? Like, I didn't even realize like I got to know him a little bit, like, and I know he did some shooting, like, and you know, we didn't do really sophisticated shoots, but they were cool. I didn't like the whole time. He never told me he's this like high rolling DP that's like, you know, going to Vegas with VH1 and Pink. Yeah,
he's the real,
you know, like, wow. Today he's shooting Mike Tyson. Like, I mean, if you ever meet the guy, you gotta have him do his Bill Clinton impression when he shot at Bill Clinton's house. I mean, this guy has seen it all. So he's really into something. He's getting, you know, he's starting to work with people like Amblin Entertainment. So, you know, he could be working for Spielberg in the next, you know, he's already on some shit I can't even tell about. So yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, we love Amiga Bill.
And again, content is king. People, if they identify with your content, you know, you'll bring them out. So it's cool that he was passionate, and it's nice when it's wonderful when people with experience share their skills on projects like yours, you know, and if we, you know, we're there for everybody. Let us know and we'll do anything we can to help help anybody.
It makes the project happen. Like, so, you know, Arcade Dreams is made just like Viva Amiga. It's made by fans, and it's made possible by fans. And I want to take the time right now to thank the pinball community, because I got to keep it real, even more than like the video game community. They've been more supportive, dude. And they've helped me, you know, just like it started with Burge, who's a pinball fan. And so's Bruce. Bruce has been incredible help. And, you know, the video game people have been helpful too, but I feel like the pinball people have really made it happen for me. And so, you know what, if you guys continue to take care of me, I'll take care of you and provide you with amazing content, inspiration, and help. You know, I'd like to just go ahead and say right now. So yeah, we are. If you go to the website, arcadedocumentary.com, you can see the sponsors that we have. We're working with incredible technologies. The people behind Golden Tee, Funko Entertainment, they're a cabinet manufacturer. And then Ultra Munch, go check their website. Very interesting company. Yeah, like we are open to more sponsors like that. And, you know, like if you can help us to get it together, finishing funds, we don't need a whole ton. We just need a handful of people that would maybe like to be featured in Arcade Dreams, because, you know, we're keeping things historically accurate. We're shooting the people that we want. But if you help us get this finished, not only can you guarantee that your company will be in the series, you will also get a mini doc that we'll produce just all about your company. That it'll be part of the series, and we'll also give it to you, and you can use it however you like. So I think it's kind of an unbeatable deal. Please contact team at rocksteadymedia.com if you'd like to find out about sponsoring the series. You know, it's a screaming deal of what you get for the, I mean, you know, I want to keep it real. Like, this documentary is going to be a household name. You know, a lot of people are going to see this. I got Hulu last time. You know, we're gunning for Netflix. We're gunning for, you know, cable channels. We know that it goes beyond American audience. I had one distributor who actually nipped out and contacted me, just asking some questions, you know, and we weren't ready to strike a deal with them, but he's, you know, he really outlined how he thinks it's just really got a global appeal because everybody loves games. Whenever I tell anybody about the documentary, they're like, yeah, I'd watch that. So, you know, you can get your stuff really seen in front of a lot of people.
Yeah, I love your Rocksteady website too. I like.
Thanks. We just made a new website.
Specializing in high-packed sizzle videos.
Yeah. Which is the website refresh.
All those beautiful photos.
It's a work in progress on that website, but I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, no, it definitely shows off our work.
So do you want to
rocksteadymedia.com.
Do you want to chat a little bit for our filmmakers out there who have an idea? We talked about maybe sharing a bit of your process as far as your concept to your completion of a project, so that other filmmakers might use that same kind of structure to help them out.
Okay.
So yeah. Or do you have another clip that you wanted to play really quick?
You know what? Let's do a fun clip. For the pinball people, since we're on that note,
pinball people.
Yeah, man, for the pinheads.
Okay,
let's show. But yeah, so just a quick setup. Yeah, this was shot at Pinfest.
Yeah.
And it was shot with the black magic. It was not correct. It was not color corrected in DaVinci. It was color corrected while I was still using Premiere. I think when I correct this, I'm obviously gonna do another round on that stuff. I think I can make it look even more cool. But I like this one. It's got a moto in it. You guys
I love this one too. I love when you guys capture these little vignettes of the pinball community. So
and so this will get interwoven into the series.
I love it. All right, let's check it out. Right? Yeah. Wait. Right. Making sure nothing else is gonna clip in.
This ragtag team taking on IBM, Apple, and Hulu changed the world.
We were from the future. This was it. The wild-eyed, the excited, the crazed, gotta create inventive things, gotta do fun stuff. It just completely changed everything.
Amiga users make Macintosh users look like IBM users.
Weirdness and enthusiasm and unbridled energy.
There's a little bit of a loopy loop going on right there, but that was awesome. That was great. And then we saw so many amazing people in the pinball community. A lot of the live streamers up there. Right there, but that was awesome. That was great. And then we saw Bruce Samos. So many amazing. You guys walked around with him that weekend.
Yeah. Oh man. So let's just we're gonna talk about my process. I've touched on things before, my view is that like there's really not any point in making a film where you don't know who the audience is already, because like if you don't know who the audience is and how to reach them, I don't really see. I mean, you're doing what? You're making it for yourself. So that's why I got really into documentaries, because in the 2000s, I feel like documentaries started becoming a big thing. I saw a really cool documentary called it's Enron, the smartest guys in the room, which I thought was amazing. And I just
that was good.
Yeah, I got the bug for documentaries, and they made one called Chasing Ghosts Beyond the Arcade.
Chasing Ghosts.
Which is a great little independent film. And I saw what they were doing, with HD cameras, and with Viva Amiga, I kind of jacked their style a little bit. I was like, wow, they made it look really cool by having these computer animations. which people hadn't really thought of putting in a documentary before.
Right.
And so, you know, like I actually, chasing Ghost Beyond the Arcade was my inspiration to make Viva Amiga. I was like, all right, I'll just do what they did, but choose my own topic, you know. But then you can see now here I am, I'm doing arcades now. So, you know, it's obviously a real source of inspiration to me. And I was like, well, you know, I should make documentaries because it's easy to find an audience. Who's the audience? It's the fan base. It's the fan base of the topic. So, you know, like I like to thank the Amiga fans, you know, they helped me get Viva Amiga made just the same way that, you know, pinball and arcade people helped me get this one made. And so, you know, like one of the things, you know, when I decided to be serious about it is make a Facebook, go ahead and make a Facebook and other social media, you know, accounts for yourself and just start putting stuff in there and, you know, see if you get a reaction. And it's a great way to find out, well, are people really into this topic? And, you know, you can see for yourself. And so like, that's kind of how I like to target people like that, because I want to know myself, like, man, are people going to watch this when it's all done?
Or
and
start
they can help.
Or start a streaming TV show for Marco TV. That's always another great way to see if there's an audience. Share content.
An audience.
See if there's an audience. Keep going, Zach.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, it's like, all right, then you decide the idea, and yeah, just, you know, go ahead and write yourself a treatment. You know what I mean? You should be able to write in a paragraph or so, you know, at the minimum of like what it's about, and you know, read it back to yourself and share with people and see if it makes any sense. Yeah. And so, you know, like, so then, you know, once you've got that, the next step is to go ahead and shoot footage for a trailer, you know, like, and so, you know, I usually do a couple of interviews and try to get visuals together to come out with a teaser, you know, and then, you know, start showing that and see if we get a real interest. And yeah, I mean, it works. You get a lot of feedback, you know, you get excited yourself. It's always great when people are excited about what you're doing and tell you.
Proof of performance trailer. We learned that earlier. Just bringing it back.
Cool. Yeah, dude. So yeah, you know, then you move in after that, you know, if you get some funding, right, you can move into move more into pre-production and just starting, you know, getting all the interview people booked and, you know, doing location scouts, finding those locations, getting a crew together, doing all the budget stuff, and then, you know, try to make an announcement. If you get some funding with the individual, go ahead and, you know, and start, you know, putting stuff out there and launch that you're doing it officially.
Yeah.
And, you know, that can help you get funded. And then, you know, you turn these, you know, you get some money, because like, I think I'll do the preliminary shoots and stuff, you know, out of my own pocket. But beyond that, it's like, I'll never make a complete series, you know, just fund it myself.
Right. Yeah.
Gotta get that funding so that it'll be good. So it won't look cheap and you won't lose money.
Eat.
Like, yeah, like
you gotta eat in the meantime. Yeah.
I mean, some documentaries really blow up and some indie films have obviously blow up, but, you know, just keeping it real. I always like to talk about the real world. You're most likely to fail or not make money if you're making your own independent films and series, unless they're just something for YouTube, which of course, a whole different story, you know. But if you want to do things on the level we're doing, man, you got to have funding. So, you know, try to make sure that's there, and then, you know, just turn all this pre-production stuff into the real docs. Get organized. Go ahead and start setting yourself up, you know, all the editing projects, organize all the footage, and, you know, then go out and start shooting people. And, you know, like, you know, while I'm in the shooting phase, I like to do these kind of like style sketches, like I've been showing, like we just saw with the Pinfest one, to kind of like give myself a feeling like, oh, how's this thing going to be? You know, I did that some with Viva Amiga. And then you can, when it comes for the real editing, you know, you've got like a montage already. And then you can start interweaving all the interviews into that. And it's like, you know, I probably should have been a music video director.
Oh my God.
I love telling stories, but like, I know, well, the thing is, like, I found out they don't really pay. It's like, oh my God.
Not anymore.
No, they don't. So I don't really do that, but, you know, I kind of make my own music videos about my own films, and then they wind up, well, it's like, okay, you can take that and turn it into some content for social media and show a little teaser clip there, or you can take it and interweave with the interviews to make the final content. You've got something to work with.
And you've also been clever too by saying to, you know, your sponsors, hey, I will cut you with the same footage. I will use the footage in my thing, and then I will cut you something that's specific to your needs, to your marketing needs, which is really smooth. It's a really great idea.
I did not come up with that idea, but I got to tell you, it's a great idea. And you know, like I want to make it clear, like I still have to do commercial work to earn a living.
Sure.
I'm not living off this right now. So, you know, like, was my point I was making? Yeah. It's like, you got to do anything to keep it rolling.
And then you're talking about,
I just want to keep doing this as a living. This is my favorite. I have so much fun making these documentaries, guys. I just want to keep doing it and not really have to do.
And it looks good.
Work, but
I want
to work for clients that I care about, like people in the games industry.
So when you were also talking about the process of funding, you know, you've got some sponsors, but you are tiering it in different, like you're doing your pre-production, your production, and you're looking for like finishing funds.
Yeah, we need finishing funds now.
But you are crowdfunding with process, like you do, you know, a Kickstarter to get it going for the original shoots. Tell me about that process and what you're looking for next, so that we can have this in our hands.
What am I looking for next? Like, yeah, I'm looking for some finishing funds. Like, I'm not going to put a number on it right here, but it's like, I guess we had the thing about 2/3 funded. So we kind of need like the last third. And of course that's going to scale, like, depending on how much we get. Like, I have some really ambitious stuff that I'd like to put in here that will reach my original vision. So obviously the more money I have, the closer I get to that vision. So, you know, the good news is we've got the content, so my vision will be realized. But there's some stuff that we're gonna have to spend a little money on if we want to do it right. No. And then there's other stuff like legal fees, insurance you gotta buy, and all this stuff before the movie comes out. And that's what we need the help with.
Sure.
And so just come talk to me, team at rocksteadymedia.com, and like, we'd love to. We're gonna take care of you.
You're gonna do another Kickstarter project, or individuals like myself could contribute a little bit versus, not have the big pocket sponsor funds.
Sure. Yeah. Of course, like if you, I
can always slide you like, here's $100, dude. But at the same time,
we're trying not to do another Kickstarter because it's
they're labor intensive.
Let everybody know right now, like, it's not a joyride doing Kickstarter. Like, you're beholden to all these people, and let me tell you, the less money someone gives you, often the more entitled they feel.
Yes.
Like, it's the people who give you larger money. They're like, yeah, just let us know what's done. But it's the people that spent 30. I had one crazy person, dude. I had one person that was harassing one of the stars of Viva Amiga because I hadn't finished. And he's like, you gotta talk to this dude.
Yeah,
harassing me, and I'm like, Jesus, So like, I approached him like, dude, that's fine. I'm just gonna give you your money back. Like, it's taking a while, but like, it's coming out, just a few more months.
It's not worth your worth your $10.
I was like, how much money did you give? And he was like, $30. And I'm like, what? You can worry about your $30 that you gave, like,
always them.
I mean,
unfortunately,
so
the ups and downs.
So we don't want too much more of that, but we may do a Kickstarter for fishing funds, but we'll set something up. Mm-hmm. I think that we'd like to just deal with people who can get like some thousands.
So
but not a lot. Like,
when crowdfunding, what I've walked away with is, when crowdfunding, if there's any donation beneath it, like $100 or $500, there's some small print that says, you cannot bitch about your investment in this. We will get to you. We promise.
I understand.
So I'm going to lock that into my head. And when I do my crowdfunding, I'm going to
here's the problem, guys.
Put it in small print and then point to people. Point it. No.
When you have work, especially if it's work that has a bit of a professional polish to it, which I like to think my stuff has. Like, people can't tell the difference between like this one guy or small handful of people making this thing versus like a big company. That can obviously deliver, early if they want to, you know what I mean? Like, we're on track with Arcade Dreams, but like, it's a hustle, it's a hustle, but people don't know the difference. Like, they think it's like they're buying it.
Just
for me, it's like
tomorrow.
Same with something like a multi-million-dollar project. Like, guys, this is low budget filmmaking. But
and
provide a product that is pro. So.
Look at the credits, guys. When all those people you see on the credits are usually,
I usually put my dog in the
edited, shot, by Zack. And then you're like, that's an indie film.
Yeah.
Okay, Zack, I do have one question, and I should know the answer to this, but I don't know if it's changed over time. Is Arcade Dreams gonna be like a feature-length documentary, like one piece, or is it a series? Because you say series, so I think episodical.
Yeah. So for the Kickstarter backers, we promised 3 episodes. Those episodes are about 42 to 45 minutes a piece. So we're doing that. So we do at this point plan to release it as a series. However, like if it looks at some point like it might be smarter to release it as a feature, well, you add those 3 up, and you've got a feature, and like just like we're creating it so that they could just be strung together and keep going.
Sure.
So my greatest hope actually is that we could have both. I'd love to be able to have like a feature release, and if you want to, do it the series style, like we could do more episodes with the footage.
You have a Kickstarter fan in the chat, Pin Daddy, that says they're happy to wait. Sure gets done right.
You know what, guys?
And he's a pinball person, which just attests to how awesome our community is.
Yes,
just like, just tell the world, like, this thing is worth waiting for. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Sure.
And like, as I'm starting to really do a lot of the hardcore editing now, like I'm watching it back, I'm like, is this
good.
real?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, is this really happening? Like, I really hope that this is, something that I get well known for, because I think it's amazing. And I think it's going to make people cry. It's going to make,
and then,
you can
it's
see it again, tear it up.
With your, cause it's 100 years of arcades and it's a series. Are you, willing and to do, if it gets picked up and super funded, to do a season 2 and extend the series for longer?
As long as we, it's like, as long as enough make money.
Content should ever end.
I don't want it to end. Like, I want it to make enough money so that we could just do this. Like, I could do this for a season 2, especially because we've already got a lot of footage to make a season 2.
Nice.
We wouldn't have to start from, and it's like beyond footage. We have all the graphics templates. We have all the, we have the music. We have enough. Like, and so that's something I want to make clear too. Part of the reason that people in Hollywood and also indies do sequels to movies is because it's where you actually start to make money. You already have all these resources that you can just use again for another, another sequel and keep going. And you actually start to make money off the sequels. And that's why they do it. People are like, you're ruining this movie with sequels. Like, man, you may not realize that they didn't make that much off the first one, and they got to make a sequel to make some money. So they do. That's how it works. Nice.
Awesome. Well, is there another video we want to segue to?
Yeah. Look here what we got.
Maybe
MagFest is a little MagFest thing. Yeah, like, yes, that's a fun stuff. Yeah, well, okay, so we'll show that little, show some arcade stuff. This stuff is really cool, you guys. This is nice because this was shot with the Blackmagic, and I'm honestly blown away at the quality. Like, I remember,
it looks like you're actually there.
Yeah, like, and I was thinking, when I was there, I'm looking in the viewfinder, and I'm like, is this really what this camera's doing right now? Because it looks freaking incredible. So yeah, check it out. This one, I believe, was corrected in DaVinci. Roll that, and then I can talk about MagFest, which is a really cool show.
All right, cool. I'm going to roll that clip, and then we're getting all sorts of cool questions in the chat. I'm writing them down. I'm copying and pasting them actually.
Okay.
And we'll get to them soon, so y'all stick around. Alrighty, let's go check out MagFest.
Yeah.
It was a short clip with a little bit of Amiga flair. I can put it at the bottom too. Yeah, that was like a 30-second clip. I was like, oh wait, it played and then
it's just a real shorty.
Clip. That was awesome.
Amiga
yeah, those colors of the lights and stuff, the way it shines is just the way the camera.
So some Japanese rhythm games. Yeah. I've been getting into shooting these Japanese rhythm games. I just did a shoot last weekend where we captured some more of that stuff with a cool guy named Dave Zakora. But yeah, that's MagFest. And so for those who don't know, It's an insanely huge music and games festival. They've got an arcade that they put in it where people truck out like tons of machines to put together this huge arcade with all kinds of rarities. There's different consoles, and of course there's cosplay and music performances. A lot of music, that is like live performances of video game music or chip tune. I shot part of Viva Amiga at MagFest as well, and so we went with good old Amiga Bill down to MagFest. It's his favorite show. And
I thought this just so I can meet him.
Yeah, I thought I'd show a cool behind the scenes clip that we gave to our Kickstarter backers a little while ago. This is me in the hotel at I don't know, you see the clock on the end at 5 a.m. after the shoot. We did the shoot and everybody, my other crew, they all went to bed, and I'm just I was so juiced up. I was like, maybe it's time for a BTS clip.
So how big is your usual crew when you go to one of these shows? You're directing, it appears, and you have a cinematographer. How many other crew members do you have when you're doing a normal shoot?
Sure, it ranges from I'd say 3 to 10.
Wow, that's legit.
Well, I mean, it depends on the shoot. Sometimes, with MagFest, it was me, another guy, and Amiga Bill. And we did that together. But sometimes there's other people that need to be involved. We might have, I had a gaffer on some of the shoots, which means that's a guy that's going to come with a big truck full of lighting gear, and he might have assistants or whatever. But friend. Of course, due to COVID, we've been keeping the crews really small because we've had to deal with the whole real world of social distancing. Luckily, it hasn't put the project very much behind schedule, but it did affect us a couple times, especially with one shoot. We were going to do these Chicagoland shoots a lot earlier, at least get started on them. But, travel restrictions got put into place. So we couldn't bring Bill, and we really wanted him, and just things like that. But, it did, the good news of COVID didn't affect us, but we had to keep it scaled down. Hopefully we're moving out of that phase now, though.
So for our Chicagoland friends, are you going to be filming more in Chicagoland, and where will you be landing, and do you mind if people wave at you occasionally as your work?
We will.
Behind the
going back
camera.
to Chicago.
Yeah. Stay behind the camera and shut the hell up until the shot's taken, and then please talk to us.
Yeah, well, one thing that we weren't able to do, unfortunately, because of COVID, that we had on the list was shoot Roger Sharp. So we're hoping to go back and get him. And then there's a few other things we might do some more with the Stern people. I had a really good time shooting Eugene Jarvis out there. Incredible, nice guy. He's, anybody's fan.
Were you able to get an interview by chance with Lyman Sheets when you were at Stern?
No, I don't believe so.
Nice. He's just a really big programmer, late programmer. He recently passed a few months ago. So someone in the chat was asking just because he holds a very near and dear place in our hearts. But I'm sure he's in some of the B-roll you got at some of the shows.
So just as a quick segue, and then back to Zack, next week, in 2 weeks, our next Big Picture Pinball show, we are having Roger Sharp. So right. So
good to know.
we got a little screen. So you should pop in, Zack, and chat him up.
Yeah, I'll say hi to him. We actually did get to
footage for you if you want to.
He's very worried about COVID, as anyone, especially at that time should be, so we did meet with him, and he was really nice to us, and he seemed excited to do it still. So yeah, we felt like we really hit it off with him, and we'll grab him when we go back to Chicago, which will probably be in the summer sometime.
Oh, cool. Well, he seems like a really charming guy, and we really look forward. He is definitely it's got a lot to talk about. He's been very, very busy, and he has a wonderful history to talk about. But that's in 2 weeks. So back to Zack. So I just gave it back to you. So say something.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been on here an hour and a half. Let's.
We got any more clips, or?
Why don't we'll get my. I do have a couple. I got one more. Did you show the behind the scenes at MagFest clip?
Well, we'll show that.
We do not have the Arcade Dreams BTS. We have.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think it's okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously we've been on here a long time.
I can put it on the lower. I've been dropping some content where the Arcade Dreams logo was. So like I can kind of put it there.
We also want to talk a little bit about some upcoming projects that you have coming, because you are yet on to another project. As all filmmakers are, we juggle things, and when things hit, we have to follow our leads.
Yeah, I want to show, so this is really cool. All right, so one of the reasons we chose Arcade Dreams as a topic, I was like, well, I really want to work, doing videos in the game industry. We saw there's a lot of work there, and I'm really good at trailers. So, we're like, yeah, let's do Arcade Dreams. Maybe we get some work here in the games business. And what do you know? We got our first project. So this is let me set up a little bit. Thank you. Yeah. So we just finished a video that got dropped in our laps. It's a real hustle. We turned this one around in like 2 weeks. It's not the world's longest video, but you wouldn't believe how much work goes and stuff. So yeah, I mean, like we spent 2 weeks on it and got it out in time. It got shown at the Game Developers Conference out, in California. Nice. And it's by Ken and Roberta Williams, who are the founders of Sierra Online. Anybody that knows about PC games, in the 80s and 90s has heard of Sierra. They've made some of the most legendary games like King's Quest, Space Quest, Leisure Suit Larry. I mean, they got tons of them. And so, I got approached by Ken and Roberta Williams to make a trailer for them. I'm like, let's do it. And they even had like a working script ready to go. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to do this. So, here's this video, which it's like a combination between like a little sizzle trailer and a mini doc. It tells the story of who Ken and Roberta are and how they got their idea to make the game that they're working on. So yeah, I say roll it. I thought this came out great.
All right, let's roll it. It's funny. I just downloaded Leisure Suit Larry on the Switch.
No kidding. Wow. Old school, man.
All right, here we go. It's going to be perfect this time.
Late 1972, married just 1 year out of high school. By 1979, they were living happily ever after. Ken had fulfilled his life dream of becoming a computer programmer, while Roberta, between computer jobs of her own, was busy raising their 2 small sons. One day, Ken carried home from work a teletype connected to a computer at MIT. On it, he discovered a text game simply called Advent. He ran it, and the first words displayed would change their lives forever. You're standing at the end of the road before a small brick building. He showed this to Roberta, who immediately took over and played the game for weeks. When she finished, having earned all 350 points, she said to him, "I love that game, and I have a game idea of my own. Will you program it for me? Maybe with graphics? I'm calling it Mystery House." Together, they formed Sierra Online to develop more games. Roberta designed many hit products. And over the next 18 years, Sierra grew to over 1,000 employees, with Ken as CEO. Sierra went public on NASDAQ in 1987 and was acquired in 1997. Roberta and Ken subsequently retired, built a home in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, then bought a boat and circumnavigated the oceans for almost 25 years, running the boat themselves. Meanwhile, the game that had inspired Roberta went on to become famous. Microsoft published it as their first game. Apple also launched it as their first game. Not long after, Atari made it into a cartridge that sold 1 million copies. Over the next 45 years, the game known as Colossal Cave Adventure would be remade over 180 times. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of websites dedicated to it. An internet search finds 2.1 million references, and phrases such as Zizzy have entered our culture. In early 2020, while Ken and Roberta were pondering their next projects, the pandemic of COVID struck. Stranded at home, Ken needed a challenge and asked Roberta, "What should I do?" She suggested he write a book, And that he did. The History of Sierra Online. The book became a bestseller. Remembering his Sierra days, Ken became curious about the current games being programmed, which brought him to Unity. Wow, Ken exclaimed and started learning it. Roberta, I want to make a game. Do you have any suggestions? And she did have a big idea. Roberta said, we owe our wonderful lives to that old game I played and loved 45 years ago. What if we could remake it with Unity in 3D? And so, welcome to Colossal Cave 3D Adventure. Adapted for virtual reality and computers by Roberta Williams, engineered by Ken Williams.
I'll say goodbye and then we'll roll the outro. How's that?
All right.
Excellent.
Here we are back at it. That
Adapted
was
for virtual
too.
reality and
Everybody
computers by Roberta Williams,
chat
engineered
remembers
by
making
Ken
it.
Williams.
That was like my jam.
Yeah, it was like
I could never
just,
beat it. It was so hard.
You know, and part of the reason we got this work is through the Vintage Computer I'll say goodbye and then we'll roll the outro. Which is when I talked to you guys earlier about Viva Amiga, and that's where I saw the Amiga. You know, like I hang out with these guys from the Vintage Computer Festival, and they were dialed in with Ken and Roberta, and I think that's how they found me. And yeah, they saw our stuff, and you know, we just rock with it. It's funny, if you look in there, if you go back and look at it, there was an Amiga in there. I made sure to slip, and it was the same model that I had created for Viva Amiga, so I was able to just repurpose it because Sierra made games for the Amiga.
There is
like,
the
I could use my old models. It's so cool.
For our filmmaker friends out there who are passionate about the projects they create, I've always gotten so much more traction on the stuff that I loved. And I had a filmmaker, an older filmmaker, tell me once, you know, find your passion place. Yes. And as soon as you tap into that passion place, be it vintage video games, be it Amiga computers, once you find that passion place and you create content and you feel that passion, then you know, people will come to you and you won't be searching as much out. Yeah. So I think, you know, that is an arc that you've created. You are on that upswing and the work shows quality, and hopefully more will be coming to you as you do projects like this and events.
I appreciate that. It's a challenging time. There's a lot of pressure on me. Got a lot of work to do. But if I can just get some support here, get some support, you know, like it's going to be, I mean, I think it's going to be one of the best documentaries about games.
I cannot wait to see it.
Beautiful. Easily.
Awesome.
So I hope you have some DVD content created so that you can have it signed and give them to me. So
I
like
we got Blu-ray.
Anything's fine. Yeah. I just like to have something that I could actually put on a shelf and not digitally download.
Yeah, a whole bunch of merch. Yeah, merch. You know, like we got all kind of merch stuff we promised the Kickstarter backers. Excellent. So yeah, you can look up our Kickstarter if you want, Arcade Dreams Kickstarter. And of course, arcadedocumentary.com. Mm-hmm. You can look there and find out more about the project. Yeah, you see, we promised some merch. Go take a look on our Kickstarter page, and you'll see what that is. Is there any Q&A that we want to do?
Yeah, I do have a few questions that wasn't 100% relevant to what we were talking about at that specific time, so I saved them to the end.
Nice.
And for everyone that did ask questions, I have been dropping your names in our wheel of names to do our raffle for Marco Swag Pack, to say thank you for being here and present in our conversation. So from Pinball Gramps had a great question asking, what is your biggest challenge creating your work?
Money. Just that's how it is with stuff. Unfortunately, it's an expensive field of art. Like with music, hey, just keeping it real. Right. You don't really need much more than GarageBand to produce a pretty cool song. To produce a documentary like this, man, like it's even just things like travel costs and hotel rooms. Like it costs real money to make sure people get there, you know, and that's just the least of things. Like, you gotta pay for all this licensing and pay attorneys and all this stuff. So it's always money. Everything else is pretty easy for me.
Yeah, the creating part's the fun and easy part.
It's always getting the money, and that's why, like, someday I have to be the one that worries about it, but. Until that day, I gotta worry about it. So
I know. That's
we
feel you.
It's worth it. You know what? Because here's the deal. Like, I'm making films that I really enjoy watching back. Like, one thing about Viva Amiga, it has a lot, for me, of repeat watchability. Not only did I spend all this time editing it, so I know it, like, I've watched it quite a few times. And you know what? I love that thing. It's perfect. Like, one thing people complained a little bit. Like, most of all, the fans liked it. It was a little short. It was only about over an hour. We gave the people who.
That's a good thing to.
Yeah, well,
you don't want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they wanted more, but I was like, oh, well, maybe that's because it was kind of short. Here's the deal: we did give them lots of extras and little mini docs if they bought the DVD. You know, those weren't necessarily available on iTunes, though. It's whole complicated. Well, if you go to distribute, a lot of stuff becomes out of your hands, so it gets difficult to make sure you know that the things even get to the people. You know, even if you finish them. But like, so yeah, like I also, but you know, a while back I was watching another, you know, about hour-long documentary. And it just felt like the freaking thing took forever. It was so slow.
Yeah.
And like the people I was watching it felt like that too. We're like, well, this one's only an hour. And so the reason it felt short to the Amiga people is because the documentary is good.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's edited
properly, so it just ended.
So, yeah, like,
That's
you know, it'll just move before your eyes because you'll be loving every minute of Arcade Dreams. But it's actually much longer. You know, it's we're gonna give you lots of content on this one.
I can't wait. All right, another question we had from Pin Daddy, and we kind of touched on it a little bit actually, but I'll ask it again. So, how much of an impact and what hurdles there were for trying to put together a documentary like this during COVID? You guys shot a lot of footage during COVID.
We did. You know, it really wasn't that hard. But when I talk about the shutdowns, you know, that was in the early days. We did want to go out to Chicago, and like it was touch and go. We had Bill's flight booked and everything. And it's like, guys, I can't, because if I did that, I'd have to come back in quarantine, and I can't. I'm a working filmmaker. You know, he's not available much. So, yeah, like that set us back a little bit. And then, yeah, just, you know, it hasn't affected us all that much, just a little bit. It's really just, you know, like with a lot of our interview setups, there's just the talent and maybe 2 or 3 other people wearing masks, and we get it done.
I remember you guys
really
called me and I shot a segment at a local arcade. I think it was like, it wasn't for your Kickstarter, like one of the Kickstarter.
It's on the Kickstarter videos
or something.
If you go,
they gave me a script. They told me exactly what to say on my, you know, what to say on camera and what shots they were looking for, and I just went out and shot it and sent it to them. And they edited it together in like 30 seconds, and it was like, oh, that was so cool.
We had some of it edited already. That was because I'd already made some other materials.
Yeah.
We're like, how could we put a moto in this? So we kind of refashioned things and just bam. If you go to arcadedocumentary.com, you can see that in some of the one of the gallery page or whatever, a motos thing. I want to mention that got featured on IGN, which was really cool.
So excited.
I mean, it blew up on IGN. Like I don't know, I think it made like 50,000 hits, which is big for me, you know.
And it had that shot.
We have a YouTube page
Sega
too, but I don't see much
in
action.
Japan. That you know, all the arcades in Japan, like in Akihabara, are like, and other areas are like slowly shutting down. It's really sad. We can't get out there.
We realized as we were making the documentary, like,
but I have some.
History's changing. History's happening right now. It's changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Another question. This was Not Cam from the Lamp asked, can you tell us your methods of screen capture? I don't know if Not Cam for the Lamp is still in the chat. They were saying they were going to leave, but maybe just go again saying what cameras you've been shooting on. Maybe
screen capture?
Maybe just
the Canon C300, Blackmagic, Sony FX9. And that's pretty much represents,
And then what, besides, after Arcade Dreams, like what is do you have a project in mind that you already want to start working on?
Yeah, we've got a few. It could be, you know, like, the project we like to do is probably season 2 of Arcade Dreams. But, you know, I've got some other documentary. I've always wanted to do something about Apple maybe, but that's a big home mess. I've got a kind of a white whale project I want to make. It is a kind of like a musical, an animated musical with 3D characters about the history of rock and roll. That's like that's kind of like a white whale project that I'm gonna do before I die. Like I'm gonna go full animation, and Yep, I've got that in the works. That'd be cool. I probably won't do that next, but we'll see. Like we'll pivot. Yeah, we'll see.
Awesome. And so another one was, this is from Moviate, who I believe is one of your friends.
Yeah.
What's the rarest machine that you saw and was able to document? Or do you have any other strange stories about production?
I think the rarest one is, you can see it in the trailer. It's like an early proto pinball machine where you shoot, like it's kind of like pinball in a way, not really. Like it's one of those like, pellet games, right? Where you're shooting these little BBs at Hitler and and like Mao. It's from World War II era, and it was made like basically as like a propaganda piece by the U.S. government, from what I understand. Like they commissioned it, right? So it's like part of the war effort. And like there was only a handful. I mean, I can't speak to the numbers how many were made. Not many, but we think it might only be one or two in the world. And yeah, it's called Torpedo, and you're freaking shooting Hitler. I'm like, we're at this guy's house shooting this. Like, what is this? Like, is this real? Yeah, it looks like a pinball machine. It's weird. You'll be seeing that in there, because like,
awesome.
I can't wait.
See we're all gonna shoot Hitler.
Yeah, feels good. We should all get that chance. Awesome. And I think that's it, man. That's
okay.
We had such a great chat with
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
We learned a lot, and we're
Good.
I think we just are all super excited for seeing Arcade Dreams come out, and seeing just the content that you're creating. Anything you're making is amazing. So
I appreciate the love, you guys. Yeah, I need it the most right now. Like it's I
got work to do. You get done and you're looking for funds. It gets exhausting, but we're still in your corner.
We're gonna do it. I mean, it's like I'm not. Here's the deal. I'm not ever worried if it's gonna come out. I'm just worried how big an impact it's gonna make, because I want it to explode.
Yeah.
And some of that's up to fate. Some of that's up to me. We'll just have to see. But I'm feeling pretty confident about it. So.
Well, we're always here to be an advocate of your filmmaking, and let us know when it's happening too. So we'll put a shout out to our community about when it does come out, or whatever, at the very minimum. Yeah. If not, we'll have it back in business.
All the pinball people will know about Arcade Dreams.
Yes, we will do our best to share.
Get in touch, man.
Minimum.
We'd love to work with you. Anybody that's wants a little Arcade Dreams love.
Captain Retro asked if when's the release date. Hello, Shannon Stephanie.
We don't know that yet.
I know you don't know. What's your goal? Like, you want to have it done in?
We're really trying to have like we're trying to have it done towards the end of the year. Like, I don't really see it going past this year. Actually working on it. And then when it comes out, that is a factor of the distributor. But probably early next year, I guess. I got a firm date on it. Or maybe Q1 next year, we're hoping. Depends on like if we want to do film festivals or not. Another note to Filmmakers: everyone right now needs to get out of their mind that going to film festivals is going to get you a distribution deal. It is no guarantee. A lot of people go to film festivals, waste all this time. No. With Viva Amiga,
to meet people, like-minded people, but
just consider it for fun and promotion. Like, don't consider this is going to be your savior. I had a distribution deal for Viva Amiga before I did the festivals.
So how did you find your distribution?
At Sundance, which is very hard for a normal.
Well, it
almost got into Sundance. I got one of my favorite rejection letters of all time. They're like, "You made the final round, dude."
But you're not popular enough.
Dude, heartbreaking.
Sundance on my first documentary. Hello. Maybe this time.
So how did you? A lot of filmmakers are taught, to go to the festivals. That's where you'll find distribution, but that's all changing now, especially with the streaming and all that. Tell us a little bit about how you landed your Hulu deal, because that's a big deal.
Sure.
You got, that's a really big deal.
Okay, so what a lot of people do these days for Kickstarters is that they're not looking necessarily as a way to raise funds. They're looking at it as a pre-sale. Like they've already oftentimes got the funds they need to make their product. What they're doing with Kickstarter is taking advantage of an easy way to pre-sell. So like Kickstarters can be a pain, but if you use them right, it's a good publicity thing, and distributors do troll Kickstarters because that's one of the ways they find projects that are coming out. So I actually did have a distributor contact me after my Kickstarter, and I was like, it's going to be a while. We just got started. I'll dial back. We'll circle back when the thing is done. And he's like, sounds great. And that's basically what I did. So I did investigate a couple other distributors, and I did due diligence on the company called Gunpowder and Sky. It was called Film Buff at the time, now called Gunpowder and Sky. I contacted other filmmakers that had distribution deals with them.
Excellent.
And found out how, did you get screwed? How'd you do?
Right.
And he's like, well, I did okay. And I was like, I'll settle for okay on this one. And they did send the checks on time. There were some fairly transparent. I've heard horror stories. See, with the distributor, they can easily, the numbers in movies are pure fiction. When you learn about how much film's made, that's often usually a lie. And it's even a lie that's reflected on things like Wikipedia, because especially big companies are always trying to not show a profit.
Right.
The last thing you ever want to do is show a profit. So it can be a bit of a black box with distributors, and they're not really telling you the real numbers, So if you got to make sure you go to a company that's going to show you real reports and stuff. And they did. However, the Hulu, so that company, Gunpowder and Sky, they negotiated with Hulu to get me a 1-year deal with Hulu. So that was it wasn't like pay per view like iTunes or whatever and VOD. Right. It was a flat rate. That's the digital premiere of Viva Amiga on Hulu, and they get it for a year. Yeah. However, it's a non-competitive deal, so we are free to actually show it other places too, stuff like that. Yeah. So the company company did the Hulu thing, and they also found us our DVD distributors called Kino Lorber.
Oh, Kino Lorber,
and they're
your DVD distributor.
I know can you believe that? Now you think, dude, but they're like, understand a lot of these companies are doing volume business, so they'll take a lot of stuff.
They might be.
They'll take a lot of stuff. Like I was like, because if like Kino Lorber from the 90s, it was like all these fancy like art house movies and shit. Yeah, I'm like, I look at my own DVD, I'm like, I don't see Kino Lorber on there, and like it was so funny. And just like everything else, like you think like, oh yeah, it's gonna be the fancy treatment, like. It's just some fucking intern banging it out, It can't even get the artwork right. I'm like, bro, you can't do that. It looks horrible. You have to change it. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. Unbelievable. That's life in the business.
Right.
It's never as glamorous as you think. So yeah, like I think we're gonna wind it down here. Moto, let's let people hear our Arcade Dreams theme song work in progress. With a visualizer. It's got a visualizer video. So I kind of threw in some random clips of from the series in here just to have an image. But yeah, it's a theme song work in progress.
Can we maybe we'll play it, we'll do the raffle and then play that video as the outro. And then we won't come back.
You're doing a raffle right now?
We'll do the questionnaire raffle since we went through all the Q&As. And then we'll end with that video as the sign off. And then for everyone on Twitch, we're going to go and raid one of our awesome pinball Twitch friends that are playing. So stick around and show some love to them too. I'm not sure who yet. If you're on Twitch and you want to give a recommendation, I will be happy to do it. Oh, probably Fliptronic, right? We love Fliptronic. They're playing Weird Al. All right, we got to hurry. They're playing Weird Al. All right.
Well, I'm just kidding. It looks like we got some competition. Yeah, we got some competition. Okay, it's getting steep. To our randomization.
It's the new P3 multimorphic game, guys.
All right,
don't leave yet. We're doing a raffle.
We're doing a raffle.
Everyone that asked a good question for Zack and for participating, we're gonna see who is the winner. So we're spinning the magic wheel of names, super 90s version, and the winner is. Ooh, almost. Indie Racing Nut. Congratulations, Indie Racing Nut, for winning. You win a Marco swag pack. Let me know your shipping address. Send it to me at marcotv@marcopinball.com. Indie Racing Nut, are you in the chat still? because you're a winner, send me your shipping address and your address. Wait, that's the same thing. Your shipping address and your t-shirt size. And we'll get you hooked up. I know, Pin Daddy, you were so close. All right, but we appreciate all of you for hanging out with us and asking great questions to Zach. Zach, it's an honor to get you on the show. When James and I first came up with this show early last year and started season 1, you were at the top of the list. But we've all been so busy and running around that we finally got to nail you down for this.
Love it.
And
I had fun with
excited.
I had fun with this. Thanks, everybody.
Yay, Indie Racing Nuts here. So send me an email, dude, and we'll get you all hooked up. And then, so we're going to end this epic show, right?
Yes, but we want to talk about our next show, which is it's going to be awesome too. So we're having.
We could do that.
Roger Sharp.
We should do that. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Right. That's a big deal. He's going to be here in 2 weeks. We're every other week. So in 2 weeks we'll be back with Roger Sharp. We'll
the myth, the legend.
Well, he's got amazing new film coming out. It's a biopic about his life.
Yeah,
so
it's a feature film. It's actually not
very
a
exciting,
documentary, y'all.
I know. I heard about this. All the more reason to get him.
I've seen some of the content.
I'm mad we didn't get him yet.
Beautiful.
COVID screwed up getting Sharp.
COVID did, but
he's super scared. He's an older gentleman.
He loves doing stuff, and he will be honored to be on your documentary, Zach. So don't worry.
He's a very nice guy.
I promise he will give you time when he can.
Yeah.
Awesome. But so they made an actual feature-length film about the story. Like, I think it starts from Roger Sharp as a little boy and into adulthood and everything he's done for pinball. You see like baby Zack and Josh Sharp in there.
We do have our
so much
picture up. Good.
Yeah, so much great stuff. I'm so excited for this movie. So we're gonna get Roger to talk about his involvement in the film and anything he can share, and then maybe if we're lucky, we'll try to get some of the actual creators of the film to join us too, and have a really nice thick episode.
Awesome.
Yeah, you should come by and ask all kinds of questions. So jump in the chat, man.
I'll be there.
I'm gonna ask everything about that's not pinball related. I'm gonna be asking about like how he grooms his mustache and how all that stuff that nobody else would ever ask. That's my job. So, all right. Well, that's exciting. Okay, I want to hear this track that you've created. This is your theme song. This is excellent. Great.
Yeah, it's a theme song work in progress. Yeah. We have a composer on board named Paulie Bow, and getting some amazing soundtrack, music for it. And,
so all original work for this documentary, all original music, and
licensing is such a pain. I think it's going to be all original. Yeah, but we've got. I'm even throwing a track or two in there. I've gotten a little funky.
Ooh,
yeah.
What is your? Are you electronic? Are you doing your work on the Amiga?
Yeah. Well, you could music
it made music.
It does. Well, it makes cool chip tune type music. But no, I've just been using GarageBand. Anybody who thinks it's just some kind of beginner's composition program is wrong.
It's getting deep.
Incredibly powerful thing. Like, I mean, I love what I'm sending people the tracks like, why you made it on GarageBand? I'm like, like
it's Logic Lite. It's intense. Yeah.
I probably will upgrade to Logic at some point, but it's working for now. Most of the music won't be mine, but especially simpler stuff. It's like, maybe just need a vibe track. But Paulie's doing some very cool, anthemic and atmospheric, different kinds of tunes. So.
Where'd you find this guy? Tell me a little bit about your relationship with this composer.
It's a they. And
personal.
We just met on Facebook.
Okay.
And they're also an Amiga user.
Damn, you've got a community like our pinball community. You got this
cult.
You got
Amiga cult. Just join us.
You're gonna get jackets made with Amiga across the back, and you'll be like all tough.
I mean, Amiga stopped in the 90s. It's like, talk about a dedicated fan base. It's like, well, you know what? A lot of the people that were into Amiga, like me, they went into the industry.
Yeah.
Nice.
They went into the creative arts because it was a computer for the creative mind. That's what the tagline was.
They had did you get to talk to any of the I gotta watch the documentary, but were you able to talk to anybody, the developers of the Amiga, or?
Yes, we have the original team.
Oh, brilliant.
They're in it.
Didn't one work at Midway Stern for a while too?
Yes. Well, this
Yeah,
RJ,
I interviewed that dude years ago, and yeah.
I don't know about Stern, but I don't believe he worked in pinball. Not this guy. His name is RJ Michael.
Yeah.
And he
Let me
developed
look
the
him up.
operating system for the Amiga. And he
not that dude.
He used to work for Williams, and he worked on Sinistar. We've got a little mini doc. Just go to arcadedocumentary.com.
Okay.
Should be on there. You can see it on my rocksteadymedia.com website.
Rocksteady.
You'll find out about this guy who worked for Williams. He worked on the Sinistar team, and he also worked on the Amiga.
So there is pinball
connected,
there is pinball in the genes of the Amiga. There is no doubt about it. So all you pinball people, go and stream this thing. Go give him a couple bucks.
No, I know what. Yeah.
So we all need it. All right.
Yeah, for sure. And then
Enjoy the theme song.
Biggest Little Arcade, thanks for joining the end of our show. Sorry we were talking over each other because when we get excited, we can't help it. There's such great content. So hopefully after we end the stream, you'll watch it from the beginning and see that, we're not always screaming at each other at once in excitement. That's my.
All right, everybody. Bye. Talk soon. Arcadedocumentary.com.
Yep,
Follow
and
us on
I
Facebook.
posted it in the chat.
Facebook.
So
Go to
click that
Facebook.
link. All right.
Okay.
We're going to listen to this, and then we're gonna check out Fliptronic. All right.
Thanks, Jack, for coming by.
See you
Bye,
soon.
everybody.